All right, one more evaluating example. So here we have a polynomial p of x, and they're asking us to find p of negative 2.36, right? So what I like to do is just rewrite the polynomial, and wherever there was an x before, I'm just going to leave an open set of parentheses. And then what I do is I'll put in the value that is given, right? So p of negative 2.36, so I'll put negative 2.36 in here. All right, and then in this case, we're going to do exponents first, then we'll multiply, and then we'll add and subtract, right? So that would be PEMDAS. But we're going to need a calculator anyway to do some of these operations. So really, we can just plug this whole thing into our calculator. So our calculators have that capability. And so if you take a look here, I did just that. So I put in this part, right? Remember, we're not doing anything with the left side. We're just plugging in the right side. So I plugged that in the calculator, and I got negative 42.607979696. And so I'm just going to round. It doesn't say what to round to, but let's round to the nearest thousandth. So p of negative 2.36 is approximately, right, because I'm rounding here, negative 42.608. Okay, so I rounded to the nearest thousandth, so that 9 told me to bump the 7 up to an 8, right? All right, so next we're going to talk about addition and subtraction of polynomials. So to add polynomials, really we just combine like terms. We just add the like terms, okay? So let's see some examples here. All right, so let's see number 34. So just going to combine like terms. So I'm adding this binomial with this binomial. And so I have x plus x, that's 2x, right? And then I have negative 2 plus 3, which is positive 1. And that's it. All right, let's try number 42. All right, so here I have a w squared here. So when I add those together, I get 2w squared. Okay, then I have a negative 2w with a positive 2w. So if I add negative 2w plus 2w, I get 0, right? So there's going to be a 0w here that I'm not going to include. And then lastly, we have our constants, right? Positive 1 and negative 5. So if I add 1 plus negative 5, I get negative 4. And so that's our result. All right, let's see 44. So 44, this first term here, a cubed, there's no other a cubed, right? So if you don't have another term, you're really just adding it to 0, right? Or, basically just keeping it the same. So it's just going to be a cubed that comes over. Then the next term I have is a squared, and there is another a squared. So I have negative a squared plus negative 3a squared. And so that would be negative 4a squared, right? So remember, we're just adding the coefficients, right? So this would be negative 1 plus negative 3, right? What we're adding, and then the a squared stays the same. So we're not changing the exponents because we're not multiplying, right? Multiplying, when we multiply bases, that's when we add the exponents. But here we're just adding and subtracting, and so the coefficient changes, but the base and the exponent don't. All right, and so next we have a negative 5a, and then we have a negative a there. So we add negative 5a plus negative a, and we get negative 6a. All right, and then finally we have one more term here. We have this 6 all by itself, so that's just going to come over and stay positive 6. All right, so we added 2 trinomials that time, and we ended up with 4 terms, right? Polynomial with 4 terms. All right, and last, number 46. So here we have decimals going on. Same thing though, combine like terms, right? So So we have 8.5x squared plus 1x squared, right? Invisible 1 there. So that would be 9.5x squared. Then we have 3.27x plus negative 4.39x, which comes out to be negative 1.12x. All right. And finally, we have our constants. We have negative 9.33 plus negative 2.32. And when we combine those together, we get negative 11.65. Right, so you can add and subtract the coefficients. If you need to use your calculator, you can. Don't plug in the x's, just plug in the coefficients.